Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome to your tarot reading. In this tarot reading, we're going to be looking at which soul lessons are you currently learning and integrating during this retrograde period. However, this is a timeless reading. So if you're here right now, there's a reason you're drawn here. If it feels right for you, I'd say keep watching the video. If you want to click off, that's great too. So I'm going to be doing first a couple of announcements around this channel specifically and how it relates to you and you using and developing your intuition. And then secondly, I'm going to just be discussing retrograde and the significance of it, particularly in this reading. So if you're reading it in a retrograde in the future, or in the retrograde season that we are now in 2022, or you're just reading this because you're drawn, or you're just watching this, because you're drawn to this reading right now, that's all great. And then we're going to be looking at pile picking, and then we're going to go straight into the readings. If you'd like to go straight to your pile, that's fine. I will be leaving in the description box what I have said about retrograde, so you can read it there as well. Okay, so let me dive into this. This channel, the Priestess Sophia, is specifically designed for you to discern your own higher guidance. The purpose of this channel is for you to develop your intuition, hone your own intuitive ability, and be able to tap into your innate wisdom and intuition. As an energy worker and as a psychic and tarot reader, I have found that tapping into the energy of other mediums and psychics and clairvoyants has helped me be able to hone my intuition. So what I would suggest is that when you are doing any of the pick a card readings, specifically on this channel especially, because that's the intention that I work with when I read, is that you for yourself feel, does this resonate or doesn't it resonate? Where does it resonate in my body? Why? And if you're triggered by something, don't be too quick to just file it away, because sometimes there could be messaging in that trigger too. So note that. I'll be talking about this kind of thing throughout the pick a card readings that I do, but that is the intention that I'm inviting you to work with when you're here specifically, and actually something that you can use when you are watching other pick a card readings. Because remember, my truth and what I read in the cards doesn't have to be your truth. Ultimately, you decide. Ultimately, your intuition is going to be way better for yourself than whatever I'm reading or seeing. But you can see and use what I'm reading and seeing to help you develop that and to see if it is in alignment with what you sense and feel and know for yourself. Okay? If you like that, I would love to know if you share a similar perspective or not. I'm having a feeling if you're drawn to my energy and that's how you feel about tarot readings and pick a cards, then you probably feel the same way. Let me know in the comment section. I'd like to know. If you haven't yet, remember to put on your notifications so you can get notified when I do a video. And remember to subscribe if you haven't yet. I would really appreciate the energy exchange. So that's what I just want to say about the Priestess Sophia and all the readings that we do here. Secondly, I'm going to be talking about retrograde. So right now, we're in the beginning of October and Mercury retrograde in 2022 has just ended. Now, you're probably familiar with Mercury retrograde. It happens, I think, once there's every quarter or something like that. I'm not quite sure. But the truth is, Mercury is not the only planet that goes into retrograde. Now, I'm not an astrologer, so I'm not an expert on this, but I have done a little bit of research because this period has been significant for me energetically. And since I've been feeling the energy so strongly, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person. And what I discovered is that Mercury is not the only planet that goes into retrograde all the other planets go into retrograde too. However, Venus and Mars are the two planets that aren't always going into retrograde every year. All the other planets go into retrograde every year except Venus and Mars. But this year, 2022, Venus and Mars have gone into retrograde as well. And it's just been interesting because there's been a lot of retrograde planets or planets going into retrograde at the same time. And we're in that season right now. And this season is going to be continuing until January 2023. So there's something specific about these energies. Again, this is a timeless reading. So if you're here right now, then it's likely that whatever is happening in your life is quite energetically charged. And that's why you're here. And I can tell you with these 3 cards that came out for our piles, these are very high vibrational cards, very positive cards for this deck specifically. So I can sense that this reading is going to be quite healing and very transformative. So do stick around. So currently we have 5 planets that are in retrograde, and that's Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, even though scientists don't say Pluto is a proper planet. It's a dwarf planet. But Jupiter works a lot on expansion and us growing and evolving. And when it's in retrograde, it actually gives us an opportunity to integrate what we've learned. Saturn, when Saturn is in retrograde, it's actually asking us to look at where have we given too much? Where is enough? So it's really asking us to look at our boundaries. Uranus is also in retrograde, and Uranus often has to deal with rules and technology, and it focuses on our progress. So when Uranus is in retrograde, things might not be progressing as fast as we like, but it gives us that beautiful opportunity to take stock of our progress and why things aren't progressing, and maybe even an opportunity to course correct and see if we're planting the seeds in the spaces that we need to. Are we nurturing our gardens the way we need to nurture them? So Neptune is also in retrograde, and Neptune looks specifically at our destructive habits. So where are we going? Maybe I can just try this one more time, So because it's in Pisces as well, where the boundaries get a little bit dissipated and thin, it's also looking at that, like, where do we draw our boundaries around our temptations or destructive habits? And then the final planet that's also in retrograde currently is Pluto. And Pluto is where we often hide and where we go unconscious. Where are we avoiding our roles in things? Where are we avoiding ourselves? So when it goes in retrograde, it's not as intense. So it gives us a lot of time to be retrospective and to gain deeper insight into our habits. So the energy is really beautiful and profound and ripe for us to see which soul lessons we need to integrate, hence this reading. So beautiful beings, let's pick our piles. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you each card, and then you can pick which pile you'd like to pick. This is going to be pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. I'm going to be doing all shuffling on camera. We're going to be looking at the energy of this card specifically, and then the themes, and then we'll look at what the tarot has to say and guidance on how to navigate these sort of soul lessons. Okay, so the first card that we have is this beautiful card over here. It's got a lot of blues and indigos and purples, just so you can get a nice look at this card. Lovely. This is one of my favorite cards. This card is called Speak Your Truth. And then we've got this card over here. Lots of beautiful different colors, a very powerful card. And this one is called The Grid. And then pile 3 is this card over here. Also one of my favorites. Lots of yellow and gold and orange. And this card is called Expansion. So just pause the video if you like. Take a deep breath in and a slow exhale. And pick a pile. Hello, pile one. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the Speak Your Truth card, this is your reading. So when you look at this card, you can see it's got all of these beautiful colors, all of the throat chakra. And what this card specifically talks about is specifically, can't believe why I'm saying specifically so much. It seems like anyone who is part of this group, really, not just do you need to speak your truth, but there's a specific issue in your life right now, a specific message. It's very unique to you, and it's so unique. It's yours. It's entirely yours, which makes sense because it's speaking your truth, but it's something that you know is inherent to you and who you are as a person that needs to come out. So if you know exactly what I'm talking about, it could either be, I'm hearing for some of you that there's a very important project, there's very important insights that you have, but for others of you, it's an I want to say an issue because it feels like that. Something that's been bothering you for a long time that you haven't spoken up about, and it's kept your throat chakra quite blocked and quite stuck for a long time. And now you're at the point in your life where you really are being asked to be brave and to go ahead and do this thing and give yourself the opportunity to speak. Speaking your truth, your throat chakra is directly related. It's paired with the sacral chakra, and the sacral chakra is about feeling. So being able to speak your truth is also about being able to feel what really, really matters to you. So you're really being encouraged to do that, because when you don't speak, you block your energy, and you can't really be in flow as much as you would like. So you really are being asked, and you can even feel, when I look at this card, what's really standing out for me, and it hasn't really that much before. If you look closely, you'll see that in the center there's two sort of nuggets of kind of little flowers in the center, where the rest of the energy extends from. These are fractal cards, and it seems like what's happening is because your truth isn't being expressed, that energy is really staying there and not moving the way that you'd like. If you are someone who wants to be in the public space, who wants to use their voice, whether that is on social media, whether that is in your work environment, where you want to step up to a leadership role, or you have an idea about how a project should be done, because I do feel a lot of the people who have chosen this pile are leaders, but because of issues in their childhood, have not really been able to step up into the leadership positions that they'd really like to step up into. Is that now is the time, and it's to go for it in all areas of your life so that you can keep that energy flowing. So that's come through very strongly for anyone who's chosen this card. I'm going to put your card over here. So that already is probably a massive soul lesson that you're going through at the moment. So now what we're going to do is we're going to ask for your highest guidance on the themes around the soul lessons that you are currently playing with in this retrograde season. So what are the soul lessons, the major soul lessons, and the themes of these soul lessons that are playing out in your life at the moment? We're going to pick 3 cards. So please show us, what is the highest guidance for pile 1? What are the themes of the soul lessons that they are experiencing at this moment? Okay, there we go. We've got intuition, we've got deceit, and we've got survival. Okay, this is very interesting, pile 1, because as I was looking at this card and just channeling the messages that came through, remember I told you about the pairing of the sacral, and we have this intuition card here, and it deals with the inner child. This is the guides deck. It's by Sonia Choquette. So it's a deck that focuses specifically on the type of guides you have, angels and guides that you have. And this is specifically around the inner child. And the inner child is where lives in the sacral chakra. And so this definitely has to do with some things that have happened to you when you were younger that prevent you from feeling like you can actually express what it is that you really need to express on a deeper level. And sometimes not even on a deeper level, in a way where you're just afraid that your opinion, because it's just because it's yours, might not be heard and perceived the way that it needs to be or should be. And you really are being encouraged to look at this inner child and ask yourself, is this idea that I have of my voice or what I want to share actually true? Which is why this deceit card comes up. So it feels like for very many of you, and these are the themes of the soul lessons that are coming through, that you've had to put on some sort of a mask. If you can see here, there's a man there and he's taking his mask off, and there's people around him who've all got masks, that you've had to put on some sort of face, some sort of way of being. I feel that a lot of the people in this group are much softer and much gentler than they've had to be in the world. And because people didn't understand your intuition, your intuitive gifts, your ability to sense and feel, I feel like very magical younger children, very magical inner children when you, and very magical you yourself were when you were a child. But because people didn't necessarily understand that, what has happened as a result is you had to be somebody else. And now it can be triggering to see this, but deceit can be also with our own sort of deception. How do we lie to ourselves to survive, to protect ourselves? You know, a lot of you in this group, and take it if it resonates, if it doesn't resonate, that's fine, may have found yourself in a space where you've had to be someone else literally to survive, and very, very many times had to be alone in your own boat, figuring things out on your own, but also exceptionally resilient, and also people who have an innate ability to heal themselves, because these are your healer guides that are coming through, to heal themselves in a way that other people can't. And because they can do that, are probably also people who themselves have very, very strong healing energy. So what I'm seeing here for the themes of your soul lessons is really looking at, where is my intuition talking to me, and where is my trauma where is it my trauma because of what's happened to me as a child? Where am I hiding myself because of those things? Do I have some fear around expressing my intuition because of having to protect and defend myself? Am I lying to myself about what it is that I intuitively feel in a relationship, in a work project, and it can be any kind of relationship, in a work environment, about my career? What am I avoiding saying because I'm afraid that my intuitive voice is not the truth? But is it? Or is it actually just a survival mechanism? Please let me know how your story makes sense, because when we share and we type it out, we actually help ourselves process these kind of things. I would love to know how this relates to you, pile one. Now I'm going to, so those are the themes that we're working with right now. Okay, so let's see what the tarot has to say around what other themes are you being asked to deal with and to reflect on. Okay, here we go. We've got, wow, so we had the Queen of Cups stuck behind the Ace of Swords. Okay, we're going to go with 4 cards here. What is the highest guidance for pile 1 on the soul lessons that they are looking at right now? Okay. Ooh, way too many cards. You see, we've already got the Seven of Swords coming out here, which relates to deceit. So I'm just going to put it back in there, and we're going to see if it needs to pop out. It's going to pop out, okay? I feel like this one. Okay, we've got the Three of Pentacles, and then what else do we have here? One more card. Ooh, okay. I'm going to take all three of those because it seems like they want to come out. So we've got the Sun, and then we've got the, sorry about that, pile one. We've got the Four of Pentacles, and then we've got the 10 of Wands. So we're looking at soul lessons that you are now experiencing and exploring. So what I'm feeling with this pile, and this feels very, very specific, is that someone who's listening to this, and it may be several of you, because we've got the Sun here and it feels like it's relating to the inner child too, is that there's a very strong need to come out and really be who your authentic self is. When I look at the Queen of Cups, I feel that that authentic self is exceptionally compassionate, in tune, empathetic, and able to sense and feel and know what others are experiencing and what others are going through, and be able to make decisions from that place, because we see Three of Pentacles next to here. Understands how people fit in community. Very strong leaders in that way, very empathic leaders in whatever field that you are. It feels as though that ability is not being utilized as much as it needs to be, and it's calling itself out. It wants to come out in that space. It wants to come. This feels not like a romantic reading. We are looking at soul lessons. But I feel like for most of you, this is actually playing out very much, yes, in your relationships, but the way that it's playing out in your relationships is also affecting your work. In fact, what I'm feeling is that for pile one, it's your relationships that have affected how you are showing up for your work, and how your greatest abundance and your greatest happiness and your greatest joy is being reflected and shown because of what has happened to you in the past, where you've felt like you've had to trap yourself, where you felt like you've had to stand still, where you've felt like you've had to tie your hands behind your back and cover your eyes, for the sake of others, for the sake of the ideas of others and the opinions of others. So you've stopped yourself from expressing, but yourself wants to come out. Yourself wants to come out and really express the beauty that is very much her, being very in tune with her emotions, being very in tune with what she senses, and being able to share very strongly from her cup, because she understands how she, he, they, whichever resonates for you, understands how their message can get across and help others. It seems as though you have a very good ability to be able to see where people fit in and to collaborate with people. And the more you can get in touch with how you feel, the more you're going to be leading to that highest expression of yourself. Right now, you've kept yourself quite closed off out of fear of what will happen if you do express yourself. It seems as though you have been taken advantage of in the past. But what I do feel is really coming through is that you're being asked to push through this last little bit. I feel a lot of you have already done a lot of healing and a lot of growth in this space. So it feels almost exhaustive. It feels like, but I've done so much. I've done so much. What else do you want me to do? How much more do you want me to do? How much more do I need to do? But I do feel that your soul is asking you to complete this. 10 of Wands is about just putting in that last little bit of effort, even though it does show that you can feel overburdened, but you're almost there. If you see, home is right there. You just need to take those last few steps, and that hard work is going to pay off beautifully and lead you into a space where you can be very much who you are. You can be the sensitive soul that you are. You can express the way that you express and collaborate with people and use your personal expression for the highest good in a more public space, because this talks about speaking more publicly, speaking up in your relationships, and your voice will be valued. And you need to remember for yourself that each one of us has value, and that includes you. And when you see that in yourself too, you're going to be able to have the sun shining on you. You're going to be able to feel free. You're going to be able to express that beautiful, playful intuition that you have, that intuition that already knows exactly what is right for you. That's a very beautiful, loving soul message that is coming through pile 1. So I'm going to look at what your guidance is around this, what you're being guided to do to help you get into alignment, to integrate this lesson and to reap the benefits of integrating this lesson. Ooh, that popped out. Okay, we've got spring. I'm going to put these over here because I don't know if you can just put that over there. See this? We've got spring. See your seeds grow. Okay, one more. I'm going to take this one. We've got be brave and honest. Beautiful card. And one more. Oh, here we go. Trader. Exchange energy to create abundance. Okay, I hope you can see your cards, pile 1. Here we go. So if we look at spring here, there's this beautiful rabbit, and so look, I'm not sure if that's lavender, I'm not sure exactly what that is in the background. Maybe you can tell me. So what this card is about is that your hard work is going to pay off, which supports this completely. So you're almost there. You're almost there. In fact, what's actually happening is what you've planted, there's evidence of your healing. There's evidence of your healing in your life at the moment. You just need to look around for it. If a rabbit is a sign for you, this feels so specific. This is definitely your reading. Just look out for this rabbit, and that's going to be confirmation for you wherever you see it. If you see it in a book, if you see it in a cartoon, I don't know why I'm saying that, but rabbits are also signs of great, great abundance. So your guidance at the moment is to trust that your abundance is coming. And it's already sprouting in little ways, and it's going to just be more. It's just going to be more. And your soul is encouraging you to keep doing what it is that you're doing. And the way to go about that is to be brave and to be honest. If you see this knight here, he's holding his sword, and you see this beautiful rose in the background as well. So for me, what I'm really seeing very strongly here, pile 1, is that do not, again, the sword is making me think of the sword in the Ace of Swords. Hold that truth in front of you. That truth is your most powerful tool at this moment. You see how serene his face is holding his sword. He's not using it to attack. And you need to know that by speaking your truth, you're not attacking anybody. You're actually coming in a very grounded, centered way. And that's what I feel your guidance is here. Don't use your sword to attack. Be honest, be brave. Trust that your truth will stand for itself, because people can say a whole lot of things, but the truth will always out, pile 1. That's one thing I've definitely learned. So to trust that in yourself, and you can see he's wearing a white cloak here. So come in peace, speak in peace, but don't compromise on yourself. Be brave, be honest, and that way you're going to, again, another sign of abundance. You'll exchange energy to create abundance. And here we see here with the collaboration card. So for you who are, I feel like this is so project based. I feel like it is very strongly community based. I feel like who's ever chosen this deck, you're definitely leaders of a kind, leaders who are creating either a community, healers, either working with a whole lot of people, collaborating with a whole lot of people. Someone who may even be want to be a speaker, a platform speaker, even maybe possibly a medium, if you feel like that's your soul's calling. But what you need to understand, pile one, for you, what is really important for your soul and for your soul purpose is to be able to express your truth in a way that you use your truth to help others, to help yourself, so that you can help others. Because if you can speak your truth, you're going to encourage others to do the same. And once you do that, once you integrate this lesson, there's going to be abundance for you. Not only what I want to say is financially, but in a way where you feel very at one with the world. So pile one, this is a very inspiring reading. I feel like what you have to share and what you need to say is so important in this world. So do not, and I don't know if you heard that alarm just go off, just as I said, it's so important to this world. So do not be afraid to say what you need to say and bring it out into this world, because it needs to come out. Do not hide anymore. Remove that mask. Be who you are. Trust in your truth. And I'm very excited to see what it is that you're going to come up with. Pile one, let me know which pile you chose. If you chose pile one in the comment section, let me know what your story is like. And if you haven't yet, remember to like and subscribe. I appreciate the energy exchange very, very much, pile one. And thank you so much. Mwah. It was lovely. It was an honor reading for you. Bye. Hello, pile two. Welcome to your reading. So you chose a very powerful card. This card for me it always does different things to me. So I always like to tell people to screenshot this card, because it will have different meanings for different people. It's called the grid card. So it literally refers to the energy matrix of this reality and being able to move across different timelines. So I feel that, and it's interesting because in the first card I felt like there was a strong healing energy coming through, but when I look at this card now, I feel like a lot of you are very strong healers. But I'm seeing shamans, I'm seeing priestesses, people who relate very strongly to that energy. I'm seeing people who actually do a lot of work in the spiritual space, in the spiritual realm. So if that resonates with you, please do let me know. And I'm seeing people who are exceptionally strong manifestors. So people who that's the energy that your soul has and your soul lessons have, and what's actually going on right now. And it's about you really coming into that space and trusting that about you. I'm also seeing certain people who have just gone through a very big transition period in their life. So whatever soul lesson you're going through now, it's either that you've come just out of that transition period and you're moving up, or you are about to go. So it's basically the phoenix who's now rising from the ashes, or you're still going through that process. But for those of you who feel like you're still going through that process, you're almost done, baby. Do not worry. You are really, really almost done. So that's a very powerful energy that's coming through. Very spiritual, I must say that. So if you are a strong manifester, your manifestation style is also very unique to you. And you also need to know that it would be a good idea for you to explore just a little bit more with how it is that you manifest personally. Okay, and not necessarily have to follow the rules of other people. That's coming through quite strongly too. So let's see, what are the soul lessons and the themes of the soul lessons that that pile 2 is currently learning and integrating? What is pile 2's highest guidance? Remember, use your discernment, see what resonates with you, what triggers you, and if so, why. If something doesn't fit with you, let it fly. but also allow yourself to be open to receiving messages from yourself whilst you're listening to this. So invite your own intuition to come into play. Okay, so what is pile 2's highest guidance? Okay, so we've got our little flower that's moving here. So definitely change makers, wave makers we've got here. Okay, I feel like I have to take this card. So we've got invention. Interesting. Just spoke about change makers. We've got devotion. Oh, what a lovely card. And we've got truth. Interesting, because we just had speak your truth in the previous pile. So where you're going through right now, your soul lessons that you're integrating at the moment, it makes complete sense that you've gone through quite a transition period, quite a transformative period, and that you're actually at the end of that, because your cards and your themes are really beautiful, positive themes that we've got going on at the moment. Doesn't necessarily mean a negative theme is a bad thing, pile 2. Often the experience with negativity teaches us a lot about ourselves and what we still need to love and what we still need to learn about ourselves too. So let's just be mindful of that. Okay, so the first card that we've got here is invention, and this has to do with your creativity guides. So interestingly enough, when I first looked at this pile, I felt also like I got an image of a very strong painter. So people who may also do a lot of healing, and we even see the palette, who do a lot of healing through painting. Either this is personally and either through doing that with others. Maybe you work with pottery or clay, or you're encouraging people to do that, or recently you've invited people to do that. But what your soul lesson really right now is to, how can you use your creativity in a way that it is more deeply going to actually express your spiritual beliefs? That feels like what is coming through so very strongly. I mean, I've seen this card so many times, but it's the first time that it's really looking like a painting to me. It feels as though a lot of you are being called to express what it is that you perceive and know and feel in your innate being, to express it through what it is that you create. That is what you're going through right now. That's what your soul is integrating in this retrograde period, is how do I take my connection to God, source, the goddess, the beloved, the creator, Allah, whatever it is that you resonate with, whichever name that you prefer to call the creator. How do you express that in what it is that you bring? I feel there's a very strong connection to that, and you've got truth coming through here, and it feels like this is definitely coming from your higher self. It is even a higher self card. This truth is coming from your soul. It's coming from that greater part of you. It's coming through your connection to the divine, which makes sense because I saw such a strong spiritual connection in this card. Wow, pile 2, I would love to know what it is that you do, what it is that you're doing. It seems like you've been on a beautiful spiritual journey, and you've gone through quite a lot of transformation. And if you are feeling as though you haven't yet reached your peak, I feel that the people who have chosen pile 2 are definitely moving into that space where they are now really being encouraged to explore their creativity, to express what they know to be their truth, what they know to be their deep connection with the universe, with God, with source. And remember, creativity does not only have to be painting, but I do feel that the people who are here are quite artistic, very creative in that sort of way, and very work a lot with color. I feel like a lot of color, whether that's also with fabric, makes sense because we've got color coming up here and we've got color coming up here. Maybe you like to dress with a lot of different colors too. Very colorful personality too. And to just go with it. I feel like you already know. I feel like you get a lot of, your soul is speaking to you when you're out in nature, and to understand these messages, these hits that you're getting, they are your truth, and they are being asked to be very strongly expressed through you. Okay, so let's see what the tarot says about what other soul lessons you are currently learning and integrating during this retrograde period. Or, as we said, this is a timeless reading, so if there's a lot of energy going on for you, this is still for you, pile 2. Okay, lovely. Ooh, this card just popped out. Ooh, moon. Okay, so we just spoke about intuitive hits. What else? Okay, we've got 2 of Pentacles. Okay, we've got 5 of Swords. Okay, let's see what else comes up. What else comes up? 3 of Cups and 9 of Cups. I feel like I want to draw 1 more. Ooh, okay, 2 more have come out. Just give me a moment while I look at this. Pile 2. So what I'm sensing, we had the Queen of Cups come out in the previous pile, and not that this has to be gender based, so it's really what you identify with. But I do feel that whether you're a male or female, I'm sorry if that is offensive, whether you're a man or a woman, or however you identify with your, whatever gender you identify with, there's a bit more of a leaning to a masculine energy in this group, but it's a very balanced energy. So there's a good strong balance between feminine and masculine, and that can be if you're a woman as well. But I just do feel for some reason that the King of Cups coming up here, and I'm seeing next to the 9 of Cups, and just the way these 2 men are looking next to one another, that's really standing out for me. And I feel like that's quite important. And if this is that you're afraid to step into taking action the way that you need to take action, remember now we've got Cups here, which is to do with emotion, which is a little bit more feminine rather than masculine. So that's a very balanced energy. You can understand that your intentions are really coming from the right place. And in fact, the best way for you to take action, pile 2, is to actually really feel more into what brings you joy, because you do have the 3 of Cups here, and it feels like very strong joy here. It feels like often you have 2 of Pentacles means you're really good at juggling, right? But the way I'm seeing it right now is it feels like in the past, there's been a lot of doubt around how you handle your life, or like how you go about making your decisions. And often in the past felt quite like you had to cut out people and be quite, I want to say competitive, but it's not even that. It's that you have to be quite defensive about who you allowed into your friendship circle, who you allowed into your space, who you allowed around you. And that was good. That was necessary. But that type of energy is sort of leaving your life at the moment. And that's what your soul really also wants to communicate. And that's what you're learning. And that's what your soul seems to be learning right now. So a big lesson for you is to be able to, trust in the flow of your feelings to lead you to where you need to go. We've got the Hangman here, which is also very strongly about surrender and truth and enlightenment. So the people in this pile are definitely on some sort of very strong spiritual quest. And this card also gives me more of that indication. And because there's such a strong search for truth in this pile, so we've got the moon coming up here. You've had to deal with a lot of shadow things, a lot of work. This group has done a lot of deep work with themselves, traveled into many different spaces, seen many things of themselves. I'm even hearing that some of you may have even had to deal with a lot of addiction. And that's also why a lot of people had to be cut out of what was allowed in your space and not allowed in your space. but not in the traditional way that people understand what that's sort of a addiction means. So I do say that very gently. I say it in the way where it's, people often have this idea that addictions have to do with very specific kind of things, but it seems like there's been a lot of complexity that you've had to go with and experience in your life, and that complexity and being able to understand and navigate that complexity has led you to finding people who are more suited to you and are more in alignment with your path. And that is what you're learning how to integrate now. So it's almost to understand what has happened in the past was exactly what needed to happen, and you can start celebrating more of your joy and start trusting your feelings and start asking for what it is that you really, really want, because it is going to come to you as long as you allow yourself to stay in the flow and the surrender of that. Flow is very important in this group. It feels like there's a lot of wanting to move forward, and you may have found this retrograde season has slowed down things a lot for you, and maybe projects that you've wanted to move forward in a very rapid kind of pace haven't been moving forward. Or I feel like there are people who've probably wanted to start some sort of an esoteric shop in this place, start some sort of new healing kind of circle. Maybe you work with retreats, because I'm seeing a lot of water and ocean here. So people who literally want to take people onto, special kind of retreats, spiritual retreats, healing retreats. And that's really had to slow down in this season because of a lot of delays and cancellations and date changes. That feels like quite a specific message, but you're being asked to trust that this is actually going to bring you in alignment with the right people that you need to be working with. For some of you, you may have been working with or dealing with relationships that actually haven't been right for you, but what this retrograde is trying to do is to start bringing in more of the right people so that you can experience more of what you want, and in the right way, and that your message and what it is that you actually want to do yields the type of results that you want. So do trust that flow. It's very important for you to trust that flow. Okay, that's what I've got for you, pile 2. Let's see what your guidance cards are saying. So what is the best way for you to integrate these lessons at the moment? Okay, I'll take those 3. And I'm just going to move these over here, pile 2. I must say, everyone who's been watching these I keep wanting to say readings, very strong healers. I felt that in pile 1 as well. So if pile 1 also resonated with you, please do look at it. We've got Mother Earth, very beautiful. We've got Seer, and we also have Traveler. Okay, so the retreat was really important that came through as well. Okay, so Mother Earth talks about feel loved and comforted. So I just spoke about pile 1. So there may be a resonance with some of the messages in pile 1 for you too, pile 2, because we spoke about inner child. So who's ever picked this card may be someone who is a mother themselves or wants to be a mother, and a mother doesn't always have to be a mother of a child, but some sort of project that you want to birth. So it's definitely a very creative sort of project that you are definitely looking at birthing. This is why we've got this invention. Something very new, something different, something new and innovative in your industry, or just something that you know is coming from God and being inspired by God, but you have been slowed down in a way because it is actually leading you in the direction you need to go. Because you see, we've got seer here and we've got move in a new direction. So we've literally got, this card says, see beyond the current situation. And then we've got move in a new direction. So whatever delays you've experienced now in this retrograde season is for exactly that reason. It's because you're being asked to move in a different space, with the right people, with people who actually give you the type of fulfillment that you want, to bring you joy, your soul tribe, will give you really what you're wishing for. So what you've had in the past and what you've maybe been trying to juggle and make work isn't working, because it's not really in alignment with what's really going to bring you the joy. So do surrender to that. Allow yourself to move into a new direction. Allow yourself to journey deep within yourself if you need answers. So we've got the seer here, and we've got move in a new direction. So moving in a new direction also talks about going deeper within the self and traveling within the self. So the way that you can integrate the soul lesson is to, number one, if you have any sort of difficulty with your mother, and maybe your mom didn't nourish you as much as you needed when you were a child, and that made you treat yourself in a way where it's almost that you push yourself harder than you need to, or you don't necessarily pay attention to your sensitivity. It's to allow yourself to be mothered and nurtured in the way that you want to be nurtured, and to work a little bit more with that energy with yourself. Because when you give more of that energy to yourself, you're going to birth on a much deeper level what it really is that you want. Your creations are going to come through the way that you wish for, the way that's going to bring you emotional satisfaction. Yes, that's the first thing. And then secondly, to not let what you're seeing in your current reality, whatever delays, that mean to think that has stopped you from being on the right path. You definitely are on the right path, pile 2. You can completely trust that. And to follow the direction that you are now going. So for those of you who have definitely seen a change in direction, go there. For some of you, and I mean that on a physical level. For some of you, you need to journey inward and start looking a little bit deeper at yourself, and asking yourself if what you're choosing right now is actually in alignment with your spiritual beliefs and in alignment with your truth, because that's what's happening right now for your retrograde season. Okay, pile 2, what a beautiful reading, what beautiful energies, what a lovely strong connection to the beloved, to the creator you do have. Please do trust these beautiful soul lessons that you do have. You are here, seems to birth something that is definitely in alignment with not just your soul, but with God and what God wants to bring forth. So do trust that, and do trust the changes that are happening, and trust your ability to go within and to be able to provide yourself also with what you need, so you can bring the connections into your life that are going to help support you on your path. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about that, pile 2. I'd love to know what it is that you're creating and bringing into this to the world. If you haven't yet, remember to like this video and also subscribe. It really does help with the energy exchange. And I'll see you in the next reading, pile 2. Bye. Hello, pile 3. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the expansion card, this is your reading. Oh, so when you look at this fractal image, if I don't know how much you can see of it, but if you look closely, there's like these little hooks into what looks like a sort of, how would I describe it? It's almost like a necklace of some sort, or like some sort of, anyway, these gold plates that are all linked together. But what's really important about it is this image represents the idea of expansion, but expansion not only on a personal level, very much in terms of you here in the center spreading out your gifts and your talents and your energy in a very community, public platform, and mostly in writing. So it's quite a specific card in that way. So it's really about sharing your words. So we had Speak Your Truth for pile 1, but this is different in the way that it's about putting your ideas out there. And it doesn't always have to do with the voice, whereas the voice felt very specific for pile 1. But if pile 1 resonates with you, I'd also say that would be a good reading to do, have a look at, is that this looks more in terms of your writers, your bloggers, your... I almost wanted to say your wish fulfillers. So almost feel that there's some of you, and I don't know why I'm getting this sense, that maybe in a space where people come to you and ask for things, and you're able to give that to a large community of people. I don't know why that is. That was a very strong and very kind of specific message. I also feel that people who are drawn to this pile, the energy of their soul lessons, and also the energy of themselves, because this is really relating also to sort of your purpose, because it is a part of your soul lesson. Very strong love energy, because you can see around here where they've got this pink, and this pink usually doesn't stand out for me, and this pink is the color of unconditional love. And sometimes people's heart chakras are pink, and a large this card has a lot of gold in the energy, so that's quite powerful, quite a powerful color to have in your aura. Also a lot of yellow, so someone who's very strong in who they are. So whoever's chosen this pile, you're really at the point where you come to understand who it is that you are, and you're ready to spread that message. And it's in being more of your true self that your writing and your words, whatever your word is going to spread and inspire others who are like you to join you. So these are really for people who work in community spaces, building communities, want to be building communities, but also to get a very strong message across for others to hear and learn from, actually, is what I'm really hearing quite strongly. Okay, so let's see pile 3. What are the themes that you're dealing with currently in terms of the soul lessons that you are learning and integrating during this retrograde period? But remember, it's a timeless reading. Okay, so this is your highest guidance. Remember to pay attention to what resonates. Where does it sit in your body? If something triggers you, if there's a card you don't like, why is that? Okay, we've got one card come on. We're not going to look at it. I'm going to get a bit of a surprise here. I want to see what themes we get. Okay. Oh, I feel like this one. Oh, these two. Okay, we're just going to do that. Thank you. Let's see what we've got. We've got victory. Wow, amazing card to have, pile 3. Physical body. Interesting. And then we've got celebration. Ah, bless. Bless, bless. Pile 3. What is it that you are doing? So, so the themes that we're definitely seeing here is whatever you're doing, whatever sort of work you're doing, it's here to make the planet a better place. So I do feel that, and that could be very much like maybe you work for a company that deals with like getting plastic off the planet, or maybe you work with the, well, how are we going to get it off the planet, but works in sort of some recycling business, or you're working in a sustainable sort of industry, something like that. There's a lot of you that's doing that, looking at like, how can we do business in a sustainable way? How can we do business in a way that's actually going to help and benefit the animals and the planet? Maybe you also work with animals. Maybe you're in a community that really looks after the well-being of animals, and that's very important to you. But definitely people in this group, very important to find some sort of harmony. And the soul mission here is very much in like, how do we make the physical experience in this reality better? So we're working with people on a level of like, how is my message and what it is that I do and my vision going to affect the physical lives, the human lives of the people that they touch. That's very important. So that's really how your it's very tangible. I almost feel like very tangible sort of people too. People who definitely your soul mission is you're going to be victorious. So you definitely have guides that are around you that are focused on that very strongly. And also a lot of recognition for you, a lot of recognition coming through, a lot of appreciation coming through. And if you see here, we've got these 3 figures, and then there's a whole bunch of figures around them, but also that it's this recognition is coming strongly through in the community that you are. And this kind of imagery is coming through over and over again, because we see people here celebrating together, we see here holding hands, and then here we literally have celebration as well, where we have the cherubs on top, and then we have someone in the center celebrating with fruit, and then there's 2 people at the back also celebrating. So whoever this group is, your energies right now and your themes around that is definite victory on the horizon, and definitely celebration energy is also a very good energy for you to work with. Okay, that's what I'm getting for you, pile 3. Let's see what the tarot has to say around. Okay, also very strong crown chakra, because as I took out the tarot, my crown chakra really started vibrating. So your dreams are important to you, your nighttime dreams and your daydreams. Trust what you're seeing in your dreams. It's going to help you bring what you want to bring into the physical. Very important. Okay, what does pile 3 need to know about the soul lessons that they're integrating currently? Okay, we've got Ace of Swords. Wow, so we've got a lot of truth talking going on here. So that's about the writing. That's about getting the word across. Okay, I'm going to pick this card. Ooh, High Priestess. We've got the Knight of Pentacles. We've got the Hermit. Wow. We've got the Page of Wands. And pick one more. We've got the 3 of Wands. So this is, I don't know if tarot readers are allowed to have their favorite piles, but this is my favorite pile. I'm not going to lie. I don't read reversals unless I feel like I need to read reversals. So I'm going to flip all the cards the right way up. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, so we just before I drew the tarot, I got very strong insights about very connected crown chakra. So that's further supported by the High Priestess. And what I'm really feeling quite strongly here is that the messages that you do want to share, and how you want your word and what it is that your vision is that's playing out in the physical, is very much inspired by your intuition. And you really are being encouraged to trust that the words that you've got and the visions that you've gotten about what it is that you want to do are coming from an inspired place. But at the same time, I want to tell you, pile 3, not everybody is meant to be part of your community. So you're going to come across people who are not necessarily going to agree with you. But it doesn't seem like you're in that stage anymore. It seems like you're moving into the space where you're actually being encouraged to explore more and be a bit more consistent. It seems like as much as what you want to bring into the physical, you have to understand that part of doing that is like putting in the work, putting in consistent effort, And what's interesting is you also are the type of person that might need to take a lot of, you need, pile 3, you need to withdraw. You need to allow yourself to withdraw so that you can expand. That's what your soul needs. You have to go into hermit mode. You have to withdraw. It's interesting here because what's standing out for me quite a bit is if you look at the hermit's star, the star over there, it sort of looks like this here. So it's like what you're bringing out into community and the words that you're bringing out, they require you to actually do a lot of soul searching. Your soul's journey is very much about what's going on with you and the struggles and the guidance that you get internally. You're going to draw people in through expressing your inner wisdom. You've got both the high priestess and the hermit. So it's to really trust that wisdom of the universe, but also your own wisdom very, very strongly. And that's going to allow you to bring out your most powerful truth. And be consistent in that practice. This feels like it's going to be a lifelong practice for you. And this is what your soul is calling. This is your lesson right now. That's going to lead you to the projects that you want. And you're going to see that this is also a card of victory, the three of wands. That's going to see your victories come in. That's going to see your ships come in. What I am feeling is important around these the soul lessons right now is to take a little bit more of a playful approach when you do these things. Your soul is pushing you to do that. It's almost like you need to find rest, you need to find being able to withdraw, but you also need to take a playful approach and allow yourself to explore a little bit more. Explore. That's what I'm hearing. It's exploring in the world, but also exploring within. And I'm hearing, don't be ashamed of what you come up with. Don't be ashamed of what you hear. Don't be ashamed of what, because it seems like it is different, but it's not going to be seen. It's actually really going to be appreciated. Very unique ideas in this group. It's interesting because as much as you're drawing a community to you and putting your work out there and being very public in what it is that you're sharing, you are not necessarily a very social type of person. That's what comes through quite strongly. And it is actually good because your soul needs to do that. It needs to sort of be by itself quite a bit to be able to bring the truth of what it is that you want to do in this life. And this is the lesson that you're actually learning right now, is that you can trust more of yourself. You can definitely trust more of yourself. I don't feel any sort of negativity or challenges here. I feel as though you're on the right track. It's just about consistent action and allowing yourself to explore a lot more. Okay, pile 3. Let's see what guidance is coming through for you and how you can integrate this lesson. Guidance coming through for pile 3 and how to integrate their soul lesson. What guidance is coming through for pile 3 and how to integrate this. Okay. And I'm just going to draw that one and that one. So let me just move these cards here, pile 3, so that you can just see them. Calm and peace is important to you. Yes, here we've got Druid. Sorry about that, pile 2. I had a little bit of an interruption. So I was saying that calm and peace is very important to you. So it's interesting. Hey, look at this imagery here. We've got the hermit and we've got the druid. They almost look exactly the same. There's the staff. There's the light. Hold the space. Yeah. As I was drawing these cards, I also heard the word patience. So you don't need to move that fast. So we've got Three of Wands, we've got the Shield Maiden coming through. So Three of Wands is about planning as well. And we've got the Shield Maiden, which talks about make plans and focus. And we've had the Knight of Pentacles, which confirms that some sort of routine needs to be established in order to support what it is that you want to bring into the world, into the physical world. And you need to be consistent with it. And then you've got the Shapeshifter. And this is about transforming and unveil your gifts. So the people in this group, multi-talented, I feel almost as though I want to say, you are for a while going to need to take time to be on your own, to focus your intention in a way that you haven't focused your intention consistently, and be creative and allow yourself to explore so that you can bring into the world what it is that you want. And when you do that, you're going to see a lot of victory and a lot of celebration. You don't need to change much. You need to be grounded. You need to be in a space where you feel strong, where you can hear your inner guidance. That's very important. I feel like some of you in this group may have doubted your ability and your wisdom for a long time. But now what's important for you is you're being asked to be reliable and just take the time to make a schedule and stick to it, or set goals. And then trust that your gifts are there to be shared. You may have had to hide, and I feel that with both the Hermit and the Priestess. It feels like you may have had to hide yourself. I don't feel like you've ever really been a fake person. I don't feel like you've ever pretended to be somebody else, but I feel like you've had to hide a little bit. And that hiding has almost aided your soul in understanding better, because it's almost as though you've been able to see how everybody sort of hides. But you're really being asked to not do that anymore. But in the same way, to also take the time to be by yourself. Being by yourself doesn't mean you have to hide, though. Being in a space where you're following your own inner guidance so that you can explore into different spaces doesn't mean you're hiding. So allow yourself to come out of the dark over here and to bring your gifts into the world in a way that it can be seen. It feels like this group is going to have a lot to share, and it needs to be shared publicly. So pile 3, that's what you're learning. This is what your soul is trying to integrate at this moment, is how to follow your inner wisdom, but by the best way for you to bring these dreams into reality is really about planning and being consistent, and sometimes having to just chop wood and carry water. So this is the soul that this is the soul. Pile 3, this is the lesson that you're currently integrating, taking that wisdom and not hiding it anymore, and allowing your gifts to shine so you can share your word more publicly. And the best way you're going to be able to support that is by giving yourself the schedule and the structure that you need to do that. That's what this retrograde is showing showing you and your soul at this moment. That's what your soul is showing you. That's the lesson. Okay, thank you so much, Pile 3. I hope that makes sense. Please let me know in the comment section what you've thought about this reading, how it resonates with you, what stood out, what did your intuition show you. If you haven't yet, remember to like and subscribe to this channel, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next reading. Bye, Pile 3.